Qué rico es el latino.
Qué rico es el latino.
¡Hoy se ve!
Well, welcome to the NateRealmidWest Podcast, live all over social media. A lot of backlash with the Super Bowl this year, but that is quite interesting as I affect because I didn't understand the language. And what I meant I didn't understand the language is I never heard Bad Bunny at all. Never heard his music. His music was never appealing to me. It was like it was nothing. Okay, it's very different. People, I felt no cheers into it. There was no cheers into the Super Bowl Sunday when it was very sad. It's very, very sad and very outspoken with the Super Bowl Sunday, and everybody was like, "Oh, the Super Bowl Sunday seems like a really good idea." I didn't understand the language. What was he saying? Where was the subtitles for the people who were deaf and are watching the Super Bowl? What were the subtitles? Was there subtitles to it? Could you understand what he was saying? Nada. So I'm still kind of wondering what were the Super Bowl subtitles for everything and everything that's going on when it came to the Super Bowl. So I was quite like thinking, Bad Bunny. Never heard about him at all. Never in my life have I heard about Bad Bunny. Newer artists. I've heard about Shakira. I've heard about Celtic Woman. Yeah, I've heard about Taylor Swift, but Bad Bunny, no. Never heard any of his music. Never came across my radio. Would I? No, it's not my genre. My genre is mostly Irish music. That's okay. But the one thing I don't understand is people were saying Bad Bunny did not do a good job. I want to know the people that said Bad Bunny did a good job. Nobody was cheering for him. The only time that they cheered was seeing Lady Gaga. Finally, we got some English, right? We got some English. All the rest was Spanish. How is that fair for the American people? The people that are deaf? Good question, right? Why are we talking about the halftime show? Why? Because it's so important, people. It really is. It is so freaking important as we need to talk about it because that was a disgrace on America, people would say. What articles can I even bring you to say of how many people liked it and how many people did not like it? What is going to give you to that point that halftime show was so good? We looked at what Dan Bongino said, and now everybody's like, "Oh, Dan Bongino can't speak." Well, Dan Bongino can speak. You know, who was Bad Bunny? He said a lot about the halftime show. He did. So that's why I did not even watch the Super Bowl in full this year. I probably watched half of it. Half of it. Then a day ago, Dan Bongino has come out and said that show was quite as not what the American people are expecting. People like the Turning Point USA. I didn't even watch Turning Point USA either. So it's everybody's giving me so differently times of stuff. But Dan Bongino gave out the polls for Turning Point USA people say Bad Bunny was number one. I don't think Bad Bunny was never number one. I just don't think that was the best for the Super Bowl. I think that was the worst rating of the Super Bowl. Let's see how many Super Bowl tickets were sold. Let's see how many Super Bowl tickets. I'm really curious about this, you guys. I want to see how many Super Bowl tickets were sold in 2016. They're not even telling me how many Super Bowl tickets were sold in 2016 at 2026. Something's not right. Let's go look what 2025 was. How many tickets were sold during the Super Bowl? Does anybody know? How many Super Bowl tickets were sold during the Super Bowl? Because I'm just really curious to know how many Super Bowl tickets were sold. Because I'm looking. I'm not getting anything, which is why I'm not going to share my screen, because I'm not seeing how many Super Bowl tickets were sold. They are there is a difference, because I want to compare how many Super Bowl tickets were sold in 2025 than in 2026. There is a comparison. And I don't see it. Well, Raiders are saying that 22% dropped over the year. So that's what I'm hearing, is Raiders are saying it dropped over the year, but do I even trust Raiders? Thank you for me. I'm looking at the Super Bowl. This is interesting. I'm not seeing the cheapest Super Bowl tickets. Individual ticket was $4,000. Who's going to pay $4,000 to go to a Super Bowl when you can watch it at home? Where people are paying $800. Okay, let me repeat this: $800 on a TV, or $500 to get a 65-inch, or so. No, worse than that, a 75-inch TV for one day. You spent that money for one day, and then you return it back. Do you know how many TV goes on sales during the Super Bowl? And then people buy it for one day, sell it online, or turn it back? So what is the point of buying a TV if you're going to return it back the next day? That's what I want to know. Good heavens. Good Lord. Yeah, Jay-Z would definitely. I wouldn't buy a 75-inch TV. I'm like, hey, I'm buying a 78-inch TV for the Super Bowl, and I'm going to switch it back. So welcome in everybody who's just joining to the Nate Real Midwest podcast. We're live, but yeah, I'm just amazed with everything. Surprisingly, Trump didn't go. I respect his opinion that he did not want to go. I don't know if I would wanted to go to the Super Bowl. If I had all the money in the world, would I go to the Super Bowl and listen to Bad Bunny sing, excuse me? I don't think so. I don't think so. Exactly. he watched it at Mar-a-Lago. He went down there for a couple days, and now he's back at the White House. I really don't know what to say on this. This is a hard one. I have to say, I think the Super Bowl was more of a disgrace for American people. I think it was the worst for the American people. And the reason why I say it's the worst, because it's the worst of what has happened. And it's quite interesting that that is happening. But we're going to go through some music here. And we're just going to talk about a little bit of the music. Educational purposes only. There is a Super Bowl for at times and stuff that talks about like the history of the Super Bowl. I think I'm going to do so the evolution of the halftime show. Let's look at that and see what the mistakes that they made on really focusing on that halftime show and what has happened there. I'm looking at that halftime show. I just wanted to go look, and I'm just going to play this video quick, and it's about 23 minutes long, so I want you guys to sit down and enjoy it. And so I want to see what's happening. So here we go.
The Super Bowl, an event so boring that they decided they needed to put a concert in the middle of it. You need to party, you found somebody who... The Super Bowl halftime show has been providing the intermission entertainment for the big game since the very first Super Bowl between the Packers and the Chiefs in Los Angeles in 1967. Now, some Super Bowl halftime acts have certainly stood out more than the others. We all know about the famous nip slip, the left shark meme, and that time Prince pulled out his giant member on stage. But did you know that there's also been comedians, an opera singer, and even an Elvis impersonator? The halftime show has an origin story as fascinating as the game itself, which includes bear wrestling, a ratings crisis, moonwalking, and hips that simply don't lie. Let's take a look back at the complete history of the Super Bowl halftime show. Actually, you know what? I don't think this is in the spirit of the halftime show. Hold on. That's better. It's all about the spectacle, remember. Today's episode is sponsored by Element. Element is a zero-sugar electrolyte drink mix and sparkling water aimed at helping you stay hydrated and hitting optimal sodium levels. It should not be used to fill the football void we're all suffering through until next September. Each Element pack has a perfect dose of electrolytes, free of sugar, artificial colors, all of the stuff you don't want in your body. Now, I stopped drinking quote-unquote sports drinks over a decade ago because of that. If you're an active person who tries to add electrolytes into your recovery routine, I recommend Element. If you are not an active person, get off your butt. But I still recommend it. I've been hitting my exercise bike pretty hard this winter. So hard I'm sweating my buns off in my freezing cold basement. So every time I ride, even indoors, I've got a bottle of Element to drink to replenish all of those fluids that make my body glisten like a Greek god. If Greek gods needed to to spin to stay fit. You can try all of the flavors when you get your free Element sample pack with any purchase with my link and only through my link below, drinkelement.com/TGS. Raspberry's been giving chili mango a run for its money this month, if I'm being honest. Again, you only get the free sample pack with my link below, and that's for new or current customers. You can try Element risk-free, and if you don't like it, they will refund your order, no questions asked. As we prepare for Kendrick Lamar's performance at Super...
So they had different people at the Super Bowl who were willing to but this is what our Super Bowl was. I don't know what to say, ladies and gentlemen. I don't. It's kind of a shorter podcast, but I kind of want to keep people hanging. I could not understand the music. I couldn't. But that's okay. Right? It's freedom of America. I have every right to not like the Super Bowl. I have every right to not support it. Like you have every right to not believe what's in the Epstein files, correct? I thought so. Many things have transpired throughout the days, and I just wanted to share something from my heart. This is hard. I am a victim of SA. I am. And surprisingly, I'm going to have a podcast about that. Deeply. I'll do a deep podcast about that. How that really affected me. And the stuff that I see right now. I want the people to listen very, very carefully, and the people who voted against Trump. And this is what I'm going to say. I hope you look at those Epstein files deeply. Deeply. And I hope you tell me that this is the party that you guys want to vote back in 2016, 2020, 2024, and now again in 2026 for the midterms. Are you willing to accept that the Democrats plot on all of this, and so the Rhino Republicans plot on all of this was wrong? Are you going to hold your party accountable for what is going on? That one was hard to even think and imagine. I can't get it out of my mind. I can't. I never will be able to. The horrors of that list disgusts me. I do not know what to say. I don't. I really thought this was a joke. You know, this is a joke. When you're a child, it's a joke to you. When you're not a child, it's not a joke. People talked about the island. People said, oh, we did hear about this, but I did not know this would be so awful and real. Real in your eyes. It is real. It's not by a joke. It's not by anything. This is real. This is reality. And we have to accept it. Thank you for joining my show. I'm Nathaniel M. Olson. NateRealmidWest Podcast is signing out. I will be doing a Q&A. Oh, I know what reality is, Mark.